Welcome to the Leadership Expose podcast. This podcast is for purpose-driven leaders at diverse levels and organizations around the world who are seeking to scale and transform their leadership, to level up their business, and to create an impact on the lives of people all around them. Business and boardroom topics, trends, innovation, transformation, and the intersection with leadership is the focus. We enable success. I'm your host, Stephen Paul. In this episode, we meet Paul Sheynkarenko, CEO and founder of Solar Staff. He is a serial entrepreneur and lawyer who has been interested in the future of work, the gig economy, and digital nomads. Paul has had a diverse background working as a lawyer and founding businesses to support with internet law in various global locations. We welcome Paul, and we will learn about how he and Solar Staff are enabling the future of work, remote work, you only live once economy, and how businesses can benefit from independent contractors and freelancers, especially in today's world. Paul, welcome. How are you doing today?
Oh, nice to meet you. I'm fine. I'm really fine. It is a pleasure to talk with you.
Wonderful, Paul. I'm always curious about where some of our guests are located. I know we talked about this just before we joined, but for the benefit of our audience, tell us where you're based.
I'm based in Cyprus. Now I have an offices in Cyprus, in Netherlands, in USA, in New York, and I'm a bit moving between our offices, but my base located in Cyprus, and now the Cyprus is the main territory of my interests, and in Cyprus based our holding company and headquarter. That's why I'm here.
Excellent. Paul, you've had a wonderful journey, and you described quite a few things in some correspondence that we had. Tell us briefly about your personal journey, your professional journey, and bring us to light as to where you are at this point in time.
Okay, I will try. Nothing special, but interesting. Yeah. First of all, I'm graduated from the Donbass University as an engineer, but it was my first degree, and I decided I don't want to be an engineer at all, especially in metallurgical and coal industry. And I go to the National Law Academy of Ukraine, based in Kharkov. And there in Kharkov, I have my first legal practice. It was a legal practice as a private lawyer in the field of copyright. And when I start, the first internet companies was founded in Ukraine, and that was interesting for me, but it was very, very small market. And I've decided to move to the Moscow because in Russia there were much more internet companies, and I switched my practice to the legal support of web businesses. And after then, I switched my area of practice to the international taxes and international web business support as a lawyer and a legal advisor. It takes maybe 10 years of all these practices to understand that there is not a business at all. There is some kind of craft, but not a business. Because when you stop to doing something, everything looks like everything is broken. Yeah, you have no possibilities to stop. to take the rest because it is a practice and a lot of troubles with your clients, and that troubles happens in very, very worst time, every time. In early 2013, I start to think I'm a bit tired of legal practice, and I start to analyze what I'm doing what I was doing last couple of years, and I find out that a lot of my clients had a problem with contracting with the freelancers in different countries, especially in countries with a cheaper cost of work, but the huge amount of administrative and legal procedures to conclude the deals, and very weak financial system, or etc. And to solve this problem, I opened the local companies for my clients in many countries to operate as a local company with the local freelancers. It was much more easier to operate, but it is an expensive way to establish a company in each region and opening bank accounts and support. And I think it looks like a business for the medium-sized companies who are not international corporates, just a local business who wants to use an international infrastructure to make some kind of benefits, like a huge company to operate in many countries with the freelancers. And that was an idea. And after then, I start to create the team and product, and we launch Solar Staff as a web service who help companies in many countries to conclude a cross-border deals with the freelancers from other territories, other countries, and other regions.
And Paul, that is such an interesting journey and an aha moment for you about 10 years ago when you started Solar Staff. So is Solar Staff, is it more of a virtual organization, or do you have presence in all these like physical presence in all these countries?
Yeah, we have a physical presence in Amsterdam and Riga, in Larnaca, in Limassol, in Cyprus, in Moscow. Now we start to open in New York, and now we start to open offices in Dubai and Hong Kong and London this year.
So let's bring in some of the concepts that you're trying to promote here with Solar Staff. I know you're big on future of work and remote working, and just especially because of how things have turned out in the last 3-4 years during the pandemic. We've moved into a digital, digital space, especially digital space now. So, what are your views on this, and how are you basically bringing Solar Staff to the forefront? You are already there, but how are you actually bringing all of this future of work and remote work with this kind of a model?
First of all, we are clearly understand that remote work is the future of work, and all of us, or a lot of people, will start to work remotely in some kind of liquid teams, team launchings, or solo freelance, doesn't matter, but they are free. They are not an employee. They behavior like a free people who like to move between the countries, who like to work with customers from different countries. And also the customers want to work with freelancers on different markets, but they a bit afraid of concluding a deal with countries like in Ukraine, Russia, India, etc., or some kind of African or Latin American states, because of the huge paperwork and do not clear understanding of cross-border transaction and conversation rates and etc., etc. And that's why we start to think to make these kind of procedures easier. We have to have our own business infrastructure in that regions and be an intermediary between these huge companies or small companies and their freelancers in other regions. And after then, we start to build our business infrastructure in different countries and start to produce our service to automate all the paperwork, to do all the boring procedures, all the documentations, all the payments automatically without the involving a lot of people in that process. That's why we simplify this procedure for our clients. With our company, to conclude the deal with a freelancer in very, very far away country, you have to just press a button and you will receive all the documents and make a safe deal, some kind of escrow mechanic, just on demand. I would like to do that. I would like to receive that. I just press a button. I will request the service and receive it. When the service received, your freelancer will receive the payment. All clear, all safe, intermediate. We are an intermediary and we are some kind of control, the person who can have a control on these relationships. And there is some kind of safe territory for both, for clients and for freelancers, but we have no a marketplace. We just a tool. We are a tool for customers. They could bring their own freelance forces. And be clear, your team is only yours. We do not share anything with anyone. And also for freelancers, you can just make an offer like a corporate, like an international corporation, and receive your money for your work and send the results of work and receive all the documentation.
So very, very, very interesting. And I'm just thinking about a scenario here. So if I'm a consultant, for example, or a freelancer looking to do business in Riga or in Amsterdam or New York, anywhere that you might be located, is my first step just basically to get in touch with you and look at how to manage some of these formalities for that particular region?
Yeah, I understand your question. No, we are not a marketplace. We are in that game only from the moment when you receive the potential customer from Netherlands. For example, you're based in South Africa and your clients based in Amsterdam, and your clients do not understand how pay for your work because it is very difficult to prepare all the necessary documents according to the laws of South African Republic. From Amsterdam, there is very, very different legal systems. What we are doing, we are ask our that freelancer ask us to send an invoice from our Amsterdam corporation to his client. We, as an agent of this freelancer, send this invoice, receive the prepayment, and hold this amount until the work will be done. And only after then, when the work is done and the customer received the results, we send the money to the South Africa and send the results of work to the customer. And it works like a secure transaction for both parties. And we also take care of all the documents according to the one law and other law of one side and other side for both parties.
Yeah, I
That's why
understand.
we simplify all the procedure, all the boring procedure, because every freelancers, most of freelancers, like their own work, like their creative ideas and so on, but they do not like to work with the documents and some kind of paperwork.
Yeah,
No one likes that,
yeah,
but we like.
yeah. And you've basically taken the burden off of that segment by resolving that solution and
Yep.
providing I would say an automated way of doing it, all the back end work,
Yep.
because you have the knowledge and you've got the expertise to do it.
Yeah.
So Paul, is your relationships primarily with the freelancers, with the contractors, consultants, or is it also with some of those companies that the freelancers and contractors are working for or with,
Uh,
or is it both?
Basically, we work with the companies who manage their to help them to manage their freelance forces. It was our first area of business. For example, we work with um, uh, online education platform to manage their relationships with their freelancers who are teachers or some kind of people who produce some kind of courses or checking some kind of results of works of the students and so on and so on. Or we work with the companies who work with small bloggers in many countries to help them to put their advertisement to these web pages of these bloggers and conclude this many small deals. For example, you are the huge company who wants to place an advertisement with the bloggers in many countries, but you have to pay, for example, only $100 each blogger, but do that 1,000 times.
I see.
With
Yeah,
our company, you can press only one button to conclude 1,000 deals.
amazing. Amazing. Are you seeing a lot of trends, upward trends in this cross-border contractor
Yeah,
freelancer?
yeah. We see a lot of trends. For example, in online education, we saw the huge growth during the pandemic. A lot of people start of their education, start to study almost everything from some kind of how to start a new business, how to be a blogger, uh, how to do something, and through their fundamental knowledges, physics, math, and so on, chemistry, they become popular, not on on the audience of the young people, but the people and businesses wants to help their employees to improve their knowledge in some kind of some kind of fundamental knowledges, not only some kind of practical. And there is a trend of last years. Also, we saw the growth of streaming. A lot of streamers in many kind of platforms appears in many countries and grow very fast. We saw the huge growth uh, before the pandemic of the local person who start their small business as a guides for the tourist. But during the pandemic, I think maybe 80% of these people change their activities to something else.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that as well. I can experience living here in the UK and interacting with many countries. I am actually seeing an upward trend in that, and this new economy of you only live once type of economy, and especially after the pandemic thing, people have shifted their mindset.
Yeah.
It is coming into a stage where people are asking, why not? Why do I need to be working in a office space for a corporate for for a longer period of time when I can actually create the expertise and basically directly engage with companies or the ecosystem that's looking for my expertise.
And I think now in our days, the younger people became more more and more high skill specialists because of not remote work, but because of freelancing and doing some kind of projects and many different projects in many kind of industries and fields of industries. In that case, they receive a lot of experience in many fields and became the high skill specialist very early, more earlier than it was before, when a lot of people start to work in-house with the companies and proceed some kind of not equal but almost the same work day by day operations. Now, especially young people want to try something new, want to change their activity, maybe not every year, but every 3 years, every 5 years, and that's great. That's great because it helps them to be involved and to be more satisfied with their works, and they really like what they're doing.
Yeah, and keeps them relevant as well in the ever-changing evolution of this economy of this world, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Paul, you've had a significant leadership experience. We wanted to hear about, based on your journey, can you share with us, a leadership story or a life lesson that you have learned which has transformed the way you lead and operate and benefited others, maybe your team members or anyone of that sort?
Yeah, I will try. I will try. I think the starting of new business, it looks like you have one more child in your family. When your business is small and just started, you have to spend a lot of time to work hard, to make a team, to grow your team. But after, you have to change your mind. And when your business is growing, when your startup is raising, you have to give some kind of freedom to your team, to let them make their own mistakes, to grow, to be more more free in their solutions, in their decisions, and there is very important to delegate, but on time. When your team is ready, you have to feel that moment. When your team is ready to be free, to be to do not ask you every time when they make a decision, to make their own decision. There is very important transformation of your business, and only that give you the real change and real switch between the craft and the business.
Yeah, Yeah, and it's all about the growth of those individuals, right? And in turn, your company succeeds. They succeed and they work well because they're able to make some decisions by themselves eventually. But it's that personal transformation. I completely agree with you. And it is difficult in the early stages because there's a lot of effort that you'll need to put in place.
Oh yeah.
So Paul, let's talk about you. What is a day in the life of Paul look like, morning to night?
Morning to night. At morning, I have my breakfast. I like to have a breakfast in the morning. If I do not have a breakfast, I become a bit angry, and there is there is not good for my team.
Breakfast is a very important
Yeah,
meal of the
breakfast is
day,
a
isn't
very
it?
important part.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I like to go to one of my offices and speak with my team. Now my work is listening and speaking, and that's it. I just have to listen my team, and I have to speak with them to help them solve that kind of problems that they do not solve by themselves, or just help them to correct their direction of growth. And after then, I spend my rest of the day with my family, with my wife and children, and we are traveling a lot. We are traveling with the children. We are traveling with my wife. Um, I like to travel, and now I'm start to study to receive the private pilot license. I would like to be a pilot, to be free from the airlines. They are boring.
Wonderful, wonderful. Paul, that's that's just a good segue into my next question, which I think you've answered about your next personal adventure, which is the pilot's license. But what is also the next big business adventure for you, or maybe additional personal adventures for you?
Um, I think, but now I have a lot of visions inside the solar stuff. I think the solar stuff have a great perspective in many countries and regions, and we are just started, and it could be the real big business. The next journey, I think, will be something related to the contemporary art or digital art. I'm really interested in modern artists who produce the really positive artworks. Because nowadays, when we start to look on art, on digital art or modern art, a lot of them are not non-positive.
Yeah.
But now appears a lot, not a lot, but some artists who produce a really interesting and positive artworks. And maybe my next journey will be related to them somehow. I do not
Well, we'll definitely hear about that when we connect the next time around. Paul, we're coming to a close. Do you have any closing messages or a challenge to other leaders, whether they are contractors, freelancers, other companies? Do you have any messages for them on any key lessons or
know.
leadership or life or anything like that that you want to share?
It's I have the not the lesson. It's not the lesson. Just the message. Um, you can do everything that you believe you can, and there is true for everyone. Just believe you can, and you will do that.
Wonderful. That's wonderful. Thank you very much, Paul. Wise words from Paul. Thank you very much for being with us on this show, and we
Thank you.
definitely look forward to being in touch with you again.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Wonderful. Okay, folks, thank you very much for listening in, and stay tuned for our next episode on conscious leadership and what that means for leaders and their organizations, how it impacts business performance. Stay tuned. Thank you very much and have a wonderful day. Hey, I hope you enjoy the podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. You're now seeing this part of the video also because you consume some of my content, insights, and teachings. Maybe you've been to my LinkedIn page or website or seen other social media ads or listened to my podcast. I'm Stephen Paul, a business and transformational executive coach, strategic advisor, leader, and board member. I've been in diverse roles, corporate executive, entrepreneur, and worked with businesses and firms of all sizes, built and launched businesses, created high-impact boards, and so forth in 4 continents. I get it. I've been there, done that, but what is different is I bring a unique perspective and a playbook. I've helped 100+ business leaders just like you to scale and align their leadership top teams, the board, and overall business for growth. Leaders like Ivana from medium-sized company in the EU who grew 150% and expanded globally in under 5 months. After she started to work with me over facilitated sessions in an initial 3 days, I helped fine-tune their strategy and align their leadership team and board to be a cohesive driving force to achieve their dreams and outcomes. I want to teach you the same thing and more on how to scale and align your leadership team and board so you can increase your business growth and value. Get clarity on what is the next right strategy for you. There are multiple ways we can work with you. Number 1, click the link for a free, non-obligatory 60-minute initial strategic session. Let's get a feel for your dreams, your vision, your challenges, and let me convert that into a route map for you where we can co-develop and co-pilot. Number 2, enroll in an innovative and intuitive digital online course that I have created to help you transform. It's called Unshakable Resilience. It is the ultimate program for individuals and business leaders like you who want to be equipped at a personal and professional level to respond to any form of challenges or in crisis situations and take on opportunities with grit, resilience, and build a mindset of success. In essence, you want to be unshakable, thrive in crisis, take on opportunities in the face of adversity, and build a success mindset. So, click the link below to learn more on how I can personally help you individually and your firm to scale and align your leadership team and business and pivot in a transformational way. And for you to experience this, whatever the challenge you're facing, get in touch with me. Let's discuss, and I will share my insight rapidly to enable your transformation. Click the links below.